Hello, good afternoon or good morning, wherever you may be. And you're very welcome to this webinar where we're going to be focusing on the very topical theme of women's entrepreneurship. Before I introduce our speakers, I'm going to wait for a little while because we have a number of people that have joined us, but we are seeing that people are gradually still joining us. And when we see that that kind of levels off, which will be in another minute or two, we can then start the webinar. So stay with us and we will start in just 1 minute. Thank you very much. Okay. Yeah, I think that we have a leveling off now. We actually have about 100 people signed up for this webinar. 35 of them have joined. We'll still have some people joining. Most of the other people will receive the recording of this webinar. And you will also, those who are listening here with us today. So just to introduce ourselves, as you probably are aware, many of you, but not necessarily all of you, Global Entrepreneurship Monitor, or GEM as we call it, has repeatedly provided very valuable insights on how best to foster entrepreneurship to propel prosperity. We are a network consortium of national teams, and we are primarily associated with top academic institutions, and we carry out survey-based research on entrepreneurship and entrepreneurship ecosystems around the world. In fact, we are the only global research source that collects data directly from entrepreneurs. And I'm just going to introduce our speakers here today. GEM is actually made up of a consortium of 380, about that, of researchers. So we are extremely lucky to have access to basically what would be the heart or the kernel of expertise on entrepreneurship in the world. And some of those people are with us here today. I'd like to introduce first Christelle Comair. She is the co-leader of GEM Bahrain and is speaking from the Royal University for Women in Bahrain. She's got a team co-leader with her, Nehal ElNaggar, who's also with the same, it's a center for women's entrepreneurship, and both Christelle and Nehal work from there. We also have with us Fatima Boutaleb, who is our team co-leader for GEM Morocco. And she is speaking to us from the University of Hassan II, in the Hassan II in Casablanca. We have Abdullah Mohammed al-Shukaili, who is the team leader for GEM Oman. And he is speaking to us, I think, from the University of Nizwa today. And Mohammed Azam Roomi, who is the team leader with GEM Saudi Arabia, and he is talking from Prince Mohammed bin Salman College today. So welcome to all of you, and thank you for giving of your very precious time. And we're going to just kick off. We're going to kick off with Oman, because we're doing this alphabetically actually, but Dr. Abdullah will be with us only for the first half an hour of today. And so we're going to give him the opportunity to present first. And over to you, Abdullah. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you so much, and welcome. Thank you, Aileen, for this introduction. And I would like to welcome all of you. So since this webinar is focusing about women entrepreneurships, and we have selected some countries to show their key finding, I would like to present the key finding about Oman Gym Research. What we have seen when we collecting the data through the last 5 years is still there is a high percentage of male who have been involved in all of the entrepreneurships activities. We have seen the TA for the male, especially in the last year, was 11.9% for the male, comparing to only just 6.5 for the female. However, we have also seen for the established businesses, still the involvement of male is more than the women. As well, when we see about the intention, so the intention of male is more than the intention of the female in Oman. In addition, when we look to the affiliations, we have seen that the male, they are more affiliated to the entrepreneurships compared to only just 47.2% of female, which is indicated that those women, they need more uh, introductions and they need more education programs which can help them in order to affiliate more regarding the entrepreneurships. As well, when we have also from the finding, we have seen that the male, they are more capable in their entrepreneurial skills and capabilities more than the women. So we have seen that around more than 72% of male, they are more capable about entrepreneurial activities comparing to only just 67% of women. And when we look to about the more of the phases in entrepreneurial process in Oman, if we compare between male and female, as I mentioned, that the male, they are more, have more intention than the female, but also we have seen that the closer rate for the male is more than the female, which is a good indication for the women. Although their involvement in the entrepreneurial activities are less than the male, however, the closer rate and the exit rate was more than the male, which is this is a positive indication regarding the women entrepreneurial activities. When we have seen about the main lessons that we can indicate for the policymakers in Oman, and one of those is about strategic support. So we need exactly some policies which are more focusing about promoting the women entrepreneurships, especially in some sectors. In Oman, uh, most of the women, they can also starting some innovative and technology businesses, but most of them, they are focusing in the home businesses. And what we have indicated also from the government programs, we can focusing on some programs which is can be only just for the women, especially for the policy tools which are promoting the entrepreneurial activities, disregarding the incentive, financial incentive, or non-financial incentives. As well, the policymakers, maybe they need to encourage some kinds of businesses which are more related to the women. Especially, we need to respect about the culture and about other indicators in those society. So we can ask the government, especially for the some of the programs, which can also help the women how can adapt some new technology, how can also promote this business to reach to the global market, and as well how we can improve the quality and the way of promoting these women entrepreneurial activities. Um, Regarding the skills, maybe this is one of the things that how we can build the capability and how we can have what we call the entrepreneurial philosophy for those women who have starting now in the school, or maybe for those women who are now at the university level, how we can promote these kind of programs for the education level as well for the society level, how we can also promote the entrepreneurship and increase the intention of the women regarding the entrepreneurships and also increasing their work affiliation. And the last things we can look about how we can support the those kind of startups, especially in Oman. We have now starting programs which is called the Omani startups programs, which are more focusing on the technology based startups, and for those startups which has more value added to the society. So maybe we can look to the some family businesses which can the government be a partners. Especially in Oman, we have the fund is called Oman Future Fund, and they have founded a budget which is more focusing on investment on the startups. So we can recommend to the policymakers if they can also provide some budget within this Oman Future Fund, which is targeting those entrepreneurial women activities which has more value added and they have what a potential growth, especially for the family businesses. Most of the women, as I said, they like to be joining a business which is more family based, or also for those kind of businesses which is are more related to the social entrepreneurships. By this, we can help those women entrepreneurial to be more sustained and to add it more value to the community and society, and they have more value added. And also we can help them not only just to be for the local market, however, they can also reach to the global market. So I think for the education, I think also for related for the innovation, promoting some financial incentives, these are some things important for the women in Oman at this time. Thank you, Aileen. This is what I have regarding Oman, and thank you for listening.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Yeah, I'll come back to you later, Abdullah, with one or two questions before you leave us. But in the meantime, we'll go through the other speakers now, and handing over to, I think, Christelle first, is it, from Bahrain? Thank you.
Sure. Thank you so much, Dr. Aileen, to you and your team for this opportunity. And it's great to see all the colleagues here gathered for a great discussion. As you know, and this year is a very important milestone for us in Bahrain because it's our first year of conducting the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor study, and we've been inspired by the colleagues here present, and I take this opportunity to thank them and to thank the GEM team for the mentoring and the support. So as I said, a very important year for us. We are unveiling and launching the report on the 15th of September, just next month. So we will not be sharing, of course, the percentages, the numbers, the indicator, but we will be sharing, of course, the highlights of both reports, the national reports and the Women's Special Report for this year. Let me just give you a few highlights about what is GEM Bahrain today. And I'm pleased to have with me Dr. Nehal ElNaggar, who is an associate professor at the College of Business and Law at the Royal University for Women. And myself, I'm the head of the Women's Research Center, which is an interdisciplinary research center looking into women's studies in the region. This tells us a lot about today's topic, the fact that GEM Bahrain is being led by Royal University for Women, focused on women, with a research center looking into women's studies. And in terms of the findings that we will be sharing now, it really echoes the ecosystem that we find here in Bahrain, and we'll have the time to discuss it a bit more. As you can see on the slide, overall, we have had very important initiatives launched by the government in Bahrain since 2013, actually, and it has started way before with the establishment of the Supreme Council for Women in 2001. From that beginning, really, there was a focus on women entrepreneurship in Bahrain. So having now the GEM data, and you will see once we unveil the two reports, really the GEM data has been invaluable for us to inform policymaking in a very targeted way. Because we already have this ecosystem in place, and now we were able to really look at what are the enablers, how can we sustain this. So, and I would like to say also that with our partners entities, we were really keen on making these findings be included in national strategies. So with the support of the Ministry of Industry and Commerce, there are many strategies to come that will build on the GEM data. So I won't say much longer. I'll give the floor to Dr. Nehal. She will present to us the main findings of the GEM national report, but also then we'll move to the special report about women, and I can also share a few more data. Thank you, Dr.
So good morning, afternoon, good evening, everyone. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Dr. ElNaggar. I'm a business professor and Dean of Student Affairs. Of course, I'm honored to be part of the Bahraini GEM national team. Of course, in this webinar is very important, of course, highlighting the entrepreneurial highlights all over the participating countries, as well as, of course, the Middle East and North Africa, and of course, Kingdom Bahrain. Despite, of course, the significant progress, we still encounter some challenges and barriers, and today, I would love very much to explore these as well as the potential recommendations and to highlight the systemic changes and recommendations that can be done. And of course, most importantly, to contribute to a better and a broader understanding of the Kingdom of Bahrain. I'm not Bahraini, I'm Egyptian. And of course, being here, I've been here with the Royal University for Women for the past 10 years. It has been a pleasure being part of the ecosystem, being part of the entrepreneurial initiatives with the students and with the different members of the society supporting entrepreneurship. And I would like to highlight some of the entities and organizations supporting entrepreneurs and, of course, more focused on women. We have here in Bahrain, the Bahrain Business Women Society. We have Tamkeen, the labor-led fund. We have the Bahrain Economic Development Board. We have the Women's Entrepreneurship Program. We have Bahraini Women's Union. Startup Bahrain, it has very specific programs just for women, and they offer these programs for school students as well as university students. We have very interesting initiative with regard to Women in Tech Bahrain, and again, it highlights the importance of participations, women participation in tech, and this has been highlighted in our findings as well. So we're more inclined to using tech and AI, and we have the Bahrain Chamber of Commerce and Industry, different incubators and accelerators like Flat 6 Labs. We have a specific program being privileged by for having the UN, the UNIDO Enterprise Development and Investment Promotion Program, and again, it has specific initiatives and support for women. We have another initiative led by Reboot Coding Institute, again, towards coding, programming, and of course, the use of technology. It's in association with Tamkeen, which is the labor fund. And this is initiative for only Bahraini, but again, it supports different startups and whoever has the need to develop such skills. And we are working side by side with Reboot Coding Institute as Women University. And we have Bahrain CSR Society. And here I would like to highlight that the Royal University for Women is the first university that has a CSR club, student club. So again, highlighting the importance of CSR, sustainability among students and of course, faculty members and different stakeholders. We have a very interesting initiative that has been taking place for the past 3 years, which is supporting productive families, females starting their businesses at home. And we this year we're celebrating the graduation of the 5th cohort. So again, we help them to understand and develop how to run their businesses, develop their business plans, and guide them until they reach the final stages of having a proper business plan, and guiding them on to register their businesses as well. And of course, to develop different skill sets. Sometimes we help them to get investors as well. So this has been happening and taking place. So it has been part, and of course, it's highlighted among the initiatives within the ecosystem. Here, interestingly, or ever since I've been here in Bahrain, of course, I was lucky to join the Royal University for Women. Overall, the entrepreneurial ecosystem is very strong, but again, women education is really on the rise. It has been there for the past 10 years. Women here are getting excellent support. They are prominently leading different initiatives, organizations, institutions. They're having equal opportunities, and we're going to find out that there is no disparity, like a large disparity among males and females here in Bahrain. And of course, this highlights here, we're going to find that Bahraini women more likely than men to recognize good entrepreneurial opportunities. So they are eager, they're looking into opportunities, they are opening their businesses. Sometimes they start with family businesses and then they continue on their own businesses. Of course, they are motivated by wealth creation. However, we're going to find out within the reports and the findings that they're really, they care about the impact, they care about making a difference, they care about social aspects as well. So they're very sustainable oriented, and they care about giving back to the community. They have a strong tendency to continue family businesses. So a lot of them being part of the family business, and which reflects trust in women among family members to lead such organizations. So you're going to find a lot of large families, big families here in Bahrain, and they are giving the leadership positions to females. The female participation, so here we're going to find interesting numbers in the report once launched, surpassing men in with regard to digital commerce and education. And we're going to be looking again that there is a strong, more early stage enterprises with regard to females more than men. As we mentioned, sustainability, social and environmental impact, and there is a tendency to use as well the data analytics, and they are very competent and confident about the AI future and their inclination to use it. We're going to be looking into strong government support, family support. We're going to look at a sense of opportunity. They have a very strong sense of opportunity. And again, looking at different viable ways to financial independence. And we're going to look at, there is a culture of innovation all over even Bahrain. They're looking at expanding and entering different sectors. So a variety of sectors have been represented in the reports, looking into technology, logistics, retail, as well as professional services. And basically it looks, it reflects a certain tendency or adaptability as well as capability of Bahraini women here in the ecosystem. It has been reflecting an enabling environment, looking at different frameworks, as I mentioned, some of the initiatives, some of the partnerships, and here, of course, we're looking at different access to resources. Some of the enablers here, we're looking at the financial ecosystem, integrated roles, looking at how to help women to maintain, of course, work-life balance and maintaining their personal life as well as professional life. There is a strong network for women, and they recognize that. However, in some aspects, it's not the lack of networking opportunities as much as the lack of awareness. So sometimes, especially with regard to funding, as well as the networking opportunities, both very much important for any entrepreneur, and in our specific case for females, it was more about in the accessibility or the lack of awareness. So they need, maybe we'll find out some of the recommendations to reach out to those women wherever they are, just to avail such opportunities for them. Of course, the advanced capacity building, and of course, this is very much important, and it's being offered as well, technical as well as soft skills and others, as Reboot, for instance. And we're looking at the ecosystem expansion. So here we're looking at engagement, and we're going to find a lot of partnerships between government entities, civil societies, as well as private sectors. And of course, we're looking at identifying opportunities, and this has been highlighted within our findings, that Bahraini women are more likely to recognize the entrepreneurial opportunities, looking at or being able to identify market gaps, as well as having a proactive approach to entrepreneurship. The impact of sustainability, I believe it was more towards new and nascent and maybe young entrepreneurs. And I believe it's a common factor among all entrepreneurs. The younger generation are more towards sustainability. They are more towards the environment and caring about the overall community. So again, it's quite obvious in our findings. Here, yes, females here, they have proven a lot of resilience, reflected a lot of resilience and sustainable growth. Let's look at the following. Yes, so these are basically some of the highlights that needs to be focused on. Technology, of course, is important. I'll leave the takeaways to Dr. Christelle, but before I go, I would like very much to thank you for being here. And of course, I need to thank the ecosystem here in Bahrain, because it really has been very supportive, and it showcased a very, it's a successful and resilient case study. And of course, to thank the GEM global team for such an opportunity and for more inclusivity in the future. Dr. Christelle.
Thank you. Just a closing comment, Dr. Aileen. In the takeaways, we mentioned to prioritize family connection. Actually, that was an interesting field to look into, because we found that we needed actually more research when it comes to looking at the women entrepreneurs within the family contexts. And very recently, so the Supreme Council for Women launched their national plan, and that was a focus really of this national plan to support women entrepreneurs, specifically looking within the family. So looking at family work balance and all these dimensions, the more gendered dimension of entrepreneurship.
I can add another point with regard to education. So again, education and availing educational and training opportunities was really highlighted within our report. And here I need to emphasize on the role of the Royal University for Women as well. So for instance, we're helping females, we're offering a certain specific scholarship for females who are above 30 years of age to return back to studies, to continue their bachelor's degrees. So again, this is part of the initiatives that have been offered, and much more initiatives are being done. But of course, like communicating them is much more important than just offering them. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nehal and Dr. Christelle. I think I'm just going to, before we go to Morocco, and since we're saying goodbye to Dr. Abdullah, I'm wondering whether, Dr. Abdullah, if you are still with us. Perhaps he is already gone, I'm not sure. Dr. Abdullah, are you still with us? Yeah, I think he may have had to leave already. I was going to ask him because, you know, it's quite an interesting benchmarking between these two countries. And maybe Dr. Christelle and Dr. Nehal, after we have heard all of the presentations, you might like to comment on those differences, actually. Yeah. So now I'm going to go over to Morocco to Dr. Fatima Boutaleb. Please, Fatima, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Aileen. Well, I'd like to thank all the organizers and all the Global GEM team for bringing us together to address this critical topic. As we know, fostering women entrepreneurship is not just a matter of equality, it's an economic imperative. Studies, including Global Entrepreneurship Monitor, underscore the significant gap boost we can achieve by closing the gender gap entrepreneurship. So, for instance, it's estimated that if women participated in the labor force at the same rate as men, the region could see an increase in GDP up to $600 billion. So, for Morocco, turning to the situation in Morocco, as the GEM data highlights, one notable area is the increasing prevalence of women-owned businesses. Since Morocco's initial participation in the GEM study in 2015, and now with decades of continuous observations, we have noticed the significant temporal improvements in gender equity concerning the total entrepreneurial activity ratio, with the peaks in 2016, 2021, and 2024. This data points may seem misaligned with official national statistics, which continue to report relatively low rates of economic participation for Moroccan women. Is this a contradiction? Not at all. The strength of the GEM study lies in its ability to make the invisible visible. So by focusing on the individual rather than the formal organizations, we have been able to capture the often unseen entrepreneurial dynamic of women operating within the informal sector. So indeed, the peaks highlighted in the graph can be attributed in part to the adoption of the auto or solo entrepreneur status, which enabled many to identify as entrepreneurs. As well as the COVID crisis, which spurred, which showed the resilience of women entrepreneurs. So, and it spurred an intensification of informal entrepreneurship, particularly in the service sector. So with this notable evolution addresses the substantial issue of self-employment in Morocco. It underscores the urgent need to transition these informal activities into the formal sector, thereby ensuring a significant and sustainable contribution to the national economy. We can certainly commend the significant efforts undertaken, particularly at the level of public policy, such as the development of the new economic development model, the implementation of about 22 reforms, significant reforms over the past decade, and the establishment of various projects in collaboration with the civil society organization. In the following slide, an explicit list of ongoing concerns in women's entrepreneurship in Morocco, specifically outlined by experts within the framework of the NES, National Experts Study by the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor in 2024, is presented. It shows many weak links, remain to be addressed. The reading is very clear, and I choose not to compare Morocco with all GEM countries, but only with those in the MENA region, namely who participated last year, so namely Egypt, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, Oman, United Arab Emirates, Israel, Bahrain, and Qatar. Out of the first four statements, the focus is on the inequalities in access, while the last four address equality of access. Overall, experts agree that Morocco performs less well in this area, in all these areas. So access to seed funding, financing, and market continues to be more challenging for women than men. Furthermore, cultural norms and support services require further development to genuinely empower women to initiate and sustain businesses. Well, it must be acknowledged that Morocco remains one of the MENA countries with the most significant potential in terms of entrepreneurial intentions among women. But the ecosystem framework conditions don't currently serve as effective catalysts. So notably, limited access to resources and finance are key challenges. Well, beyond the socio-cultural factors, women entrepreneurs face difficulties related to financial inclusion and mobility. Moreover, and perhaps the most importantly, stereotypes and preconceptions act as major barriers. Pre-existing stereotypes and preconceptions concerning women's roles and also capabilities significantly impede their entry into and of course access within entrepreneurship. So a closer look at the evolution of the entrepreneurial ecosystem framework conditions over Morocco's 10 years of participation in GEM reveals a striking observation. Primary and secondary entrepreneurial education levels have never exceeded a score of 2.5 out of 10. Yet education is the primary tool to combat these stereotypes. So for the last slide, so for policy, the recommendations for policymakers in Morocco, a crucial lesson regarding women's entrepreneurship involves implementing comprehensive strategies that not only address economic factors, but also navigate the significant socio-cultural landscape. Given the substantial presence of women's entrepreneurial activity within the informal sector, policymakers should develop strategies that promote formalization by tackling the specific challenges and opportunities inherent to this segment. So, well, we can talk about key points. First, challenging myths and stereotypes about women's role to ensure genuine gender mainstreaming. We can talk about, I don't know if I can say this, but inclusion or gender mainstreaming washing. We need to avoid this. So policymakers should continue recognizing women's entrepreneurship as vital driver of economic dynamics and actively incorporate it into
not just talking about it, but acting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Walking the talk. Yeah.
Yeah, so into national economic policy planning, thinking about evaluating all the programs to see if they have really a true impact. So policies must also consider the deep influence of sociocultural and religious norms, as well as the family background on women's entrepreneurial pursuits. So interventions should aim to mitigate inhibiting factors while amplifying enabling ones. The second one is about the second point is about digital transition. So promoting alternative financing options and digital financial tools complemented by accessible digital literacy training in both rural and urban areas, because in Morocco the problem of the marginalized areas, notably the rural areas, is a big concern. So indirectly, policies should aim to improve educational levels, giving the education key determinants influencing women entrepreneurs. And of course, we need to redefine I can say change the paradigm, redefining the support for women's entrepreneurship by embracing the complex and interconnected dynamics. We are talking about lots of actors, lots of dimensions. So the ecosystem, the entrepreneurial ecosystem must be idiosyncratic. It means that we need to see all this in holistic approach. We need to adopt an holistic approach. So the fact is, changing cultural perception is a long-term endeavor. So, however, there are specific initiatives that can, I believe that they can be implemented in the short term to foster a pro-entrepreneurship culture for among women. So then the media plays a pivotal role in this regard, particularly by showcasing role models, increasing content that highlights entrepreneur stories and sharing the narrative across diverse media channels. It can be, of course, highly effective. Incorporating entrepreneurship education at all levels, but specifically in in primary and even preschool, in a preschool level. So this will perhaps have a substantial and rapid impact. Additionally, of course, embedding entrepreneurship into the public government discourse as a strategy for economic growth can significantly contribute to cultural change. Thank you.
Great. Well, thank you very much. In a nutshell, we, yes, have already looked at Oman, and finally, Saudi Arabia. We do not have slides for Saudi Arabia. Dr.
You do
Mohammed,
have slides for Saudi
we
Arabia.
do. Oh, I'm sorry.
You have.
I underestimated you, Dr. Roomi. So go ahead. Yes.
Thank you very much for providing me this opportunity to listen to all the results of our neighboring countries and countries in the region. And the news overall is very good. We at Prince Mohammed bin Salman College of Business and Entrepreneurship started working on GEM almost 10 years ago. This is our 10th year in collaboration with Babson Global Center for Entrepreneurial Leadership. As far as women's entrepreneurship is concerned, during the last 10 years, the results are unprecedented. And you can go through the results of our last 10-year reports, and you will see that we started at a level where women's total entrepreneurial activity was very low. But the government has done a number of things. Ecosystem has performed a lot in favor of women. And you can see it from the results of this year's report that 23.2% of Saudi women are now involved in early stage entrepreneurial ventures, putting the kingdom at second best globally among 51 economies, surpassing the US, which is 18.8%, and Germany, which is almost 7.6%. So we have done a lot here in this country. The second thing which has happened is dramatic increase in established business owners. What happened that during the COVID, women got an opportunity to start their online businesses where they don't have to go into the mainstream. And there was a digital literacy, and mind you, because the education capability and capacity of women is quite high as compared to men. And same goes for digital literacy. And that has shown the results because established business owners are now at 14% in 2025, which was almost 4% from 2016 to 21, which were our first 5 years. But COVID has done wonders here in this part of the world where women have actively participated, and they are now having established businesses. And another thing which I would like to mention is that we have soaring entrepreneurial intentions and networks. Nearly half of Saudi women are now, they now intend to start a business in the next 3 years, according to this year's report. And there is a almost 30% increase over recent years in this. Plus 86% of women entrepreneurs personally know another entrepreneur, which signals that there is a strong personal and professional networks fueling their launch pads. So these are the positive things which are happening as far as women entrepreneurs are concerned. And why it is happening? Because it's not just talk. These are not marginal upticks. They're massive leaps that reflect tangible, societal, and structural shifts. It's beyond the numbers. If you look at it, increased intent, participation of women, and business longevity are signs of a deeper transformation, which has been happening in the last 10 years in Saudi Arabia, as far as women are concerned in general, and women entrepreneurs in particular. But yes, there is still a long journey ahead. There is still a lot of room for the culture to improve, for leadership access. And again, the third thing, which is very important, is scaling of these women entrepreneurship businesses. These things are still there, but in the last 10 years, we have done unprecedented growth, which is unimaginable for a researcher like me as well, who came to this country 10 years ago from the UK. And the way women have developed themselves, and they have grown not only as entrepreneurs, but also in the employment sector and on leadership positions, how they have taken positions is unprecedented. I have never seen anywhere, and the whole world has realized this as well. So what are the things to do? If you want to, if we go deeper, then our Global Entrepreneurship Monitor reports tells us that still there is a lot of room for equal access to resources. There's outstanding social supports, and the scores are really good. We have a strong 6.4 out of 10, placing us, I think, third among 49 economies in the 2023 GEM National Expert Survey. Women's access to essential business resources is something which has a score of 4.4, which makes that 40th out of 49 economies in 2023 report. So yes, rhetoric and goodwill is solid, but actual tangible supports such as loans, property, equipment, they need a lot of work to be done still. A lot of work has been done during the last 10 years, but still there is a room to grow. There are still biases and stereotypes. There are different strata of society, and some strata has accepted it, but some there is a lot of work to be done. When we published our last women's entrepreneurship report, we titled it "Challenging Bias and Stereotypes." Again, work has been done, but entrenched stereotypes still continue to hobble women. Legitimacy, access to financial capital, and other critical resources remain harder to come by simply because of who they are. It's not just a nice to fix issue, it's actively blocking their growth or scaling up. So that's where a lot of work has to be done. Then last but not the least, institutional and cultural barriers are still there. Even with reforms and Vision 2030 momentum, there are still broader institutional and cultural constraints. For example, male guardianship norms, though a number of things have been done, a number of laws are in favor of women now, but there are still discretionary practices and enduring patriarchal structures, which keep entrepreneurs from truly thriving. So these are the areas I think which need some of more work. What is needed, if we look at the last slide, if you see, we have to close the resource gap where numbers are not matching the rhetoric. Policy move that actually matters. I think policymakers need to launch targeted financial tools such as grants, maybe subsidies, loans, and loan guarantees specifically for women-led ventures. There is still room. A lot of work has been done by Saudi venture company. There is a number of venture capital firms which are in the market. Informal loan is there. One positive thing is that most of the informal loan givers are women. But when it comes to women, when they are in business and they need loans, the numbers still need improvement. Then I think policymakers need to ensure that women should have like equal access to incubator accelerators and tech parks. There is a number of incubator accelerators and tech parks, and definitely women are getting a benefit from there as well. But I think there is some more work needs to be done as far as universities and innovation hubs are concerned. And then there is a need for support for women's angels and venture networks, because in the entrepreneurial ecosystem, as an entrepreneurship professor, I can say it with conviction that there is more funding than ideas here in this country right now. And venture capital firms and other institutes which wants to give loans, they are looking for ideas. But at the same time, if you look at the number of people or the gender of those people who are running those venture capital firms, they're mostly men, which is the same in almost all over the world. But that's the area, I think, where a lot of work can be done. What else? I think institutional backings, for example, legal clarity, regulatory support, and infrastructure. Those are also some of the hurdles which need a lot of work regardless of encouragement speech, because a lot of things people are talking, government is talking, policymakers are talking in favor of women, but these are the areas. I insist again, there's a lot of work has been done, unprecedented. It's exponential development for women. But as being a greedy researcher, I think for the women's development and growth, I think there is still there is a need for firm anti-discrimination laws covering finance, procurement, ownership rights, and business operations. Then there should be a removal of bureaucratic and legal hurdles such as overly onerous licensing or guardian consent requirements, which have been removed up to a certain level. But still, there is some room to appropriate travel and access services, which has been given already to women, but still there are certain cultural barriers which they are facing. One thing which we have found out in our GEM reports, that there is a need for gender-sensitive training, and it should be a mandate for public procurement to actively include women, micro and small and medium enterprises. And as far as the government departments are concerned, they need to be gender sensitized even more. Though, while I'm saying it, have done a research with another colleague of mine where we are looking at it, that it's a reverse bias for women employees here, because government have put a quota that X number of women should be there in every business. So women are so much in demand and their salaries are higher than male employees. I am not sure that whether you can see that anywhere in the world. I have worked in so many other countries in Europe and in Northern America as well. Women's salaries, the pay gap has been talked a lot all over the world, where women are marginalized as compared to Saudi Arabia, where women colleagues of us are getting higher salaries than men, especially if they are Saudi women, because it is the requirement by the government that X number of credible, capable women should be on the jobs. So if you can look at it, that how the situation is, but at the same time, yes, there are a number of things which need to be developed and augmented. For example, care responsibilities. It's a nucleus family system. So yes, if you are doing your own business, there is a whole support system of grandmothers and grandparents who can take care of your children as well. But not everyone has the luxury of having their parents with them. So that is one area, for example, that how...
Dr. Roomi, because we have only 4 minutes left.
Okay, I can talk. Thank you very much for
you, but
asking
actually,
me.
I honestly thought that your input was extremely rich in takeaways and very, very interesting. I think what is determining a lot of this is the fact that many of the countries in the region are pursuing a sort of economic diversification strategies, correct? And Saudi Arabia has a Saudi Vision 2030, and what's determining the policy changes is, that vision. And I mean, it is for sure, it's become clear, I think, from Morocco and from Oman, that women can have a great role in actually creating employment, and youth employment in this region. The whole of the MENA region is the lowest in the world, youth unemployment. So I'm just going to do a quick round robin where you literally have a few seconds to do a sort of quick recap on something that you heard that really stuck in your mind from the other speakers today. Could I start with you, Dr. Christelle? But really make it very short because we're almost out of time. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, Dr. Aileen. To comment on others' presentation, I think Fatima said that it's looking at women entrepreneurship is beyond just looking at equality, but also the economy. And I think this says it all in the sense that the GEM study today and the findings that we have has to look at the ecosystem and the economy as a whole in an interdisciplinary manner. And this is what we try to do here with our GEM Bahrain report, be it the national, but also the woman focus report. So there are much more research to be done in the different fields. And we look forward for more webinars, Dr. Aileen, like this one, to be able to lean in and focus on specific.
Thank you. Do you want to make a comment, Dr. Nehal?
Yes, actually, after thanking all of you and all of the colleagues participating, so I believe the findings, our findings versus Oman's, basically it is relevant to the size. So basically, probably this is it. Of course, maybe some cultural aspects as well, which calls for further research. We would love very much to do comparative studies between both countries and of course the rest of the countries. Morocco findings and KSA very interesting, but of course looking at the trends and over the time period, we're very eager to see Bahrain after 10 years, so we'll look into that. Thanks again, Dr. Aileen. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, other countries.
Thank you very much. And Fatima.
Well, it was really interesting to hear about the dynamic, the entrepreneurial dynamic in all these countries. I have just one question to, if I could, to Dr. Roomi. The fact is that. Well, I saw closely the GEM data in all the countries of MENA, and one of the results that surprised me is that the variable related to the fear of failure, so which reflects the significance, of course, burden women can feel and how it may prevent them from pursuing entrepreneurship. So, however, in particularly Saudi Arabia, I think with the Emiratis, the rate is lower than that of the men. So, how do you explain this?
Now, this is amazing because you know that after coming here in this part of the world, I realized that women have all kind of support. First, their fathers are supporting them, then their brothers are supporting them, then their husbands are supporting them. So there is a whole support system. So when you have a support system and you don't have to worry about your rent, you don't have to worry about the expenses of the household and family. So whatever you have earned or whatever your saving are, this is your money. So this was an amazing thing for me when I came to this part of the world and I realized, so that makes you braver. That gives you courage because you don't have to worry about your everyday expenses because someone somewhere is taking care of it for you. So this is my observation. It's not a scientific reply to you, but this is my observation being in this part of the world, in this culture. And realizing it, that how fortunate they are.
Yes.
Well, thank you. Unfortunately, we don't have time for more questions here, but there are some questions in the Q&A, some of which came in and were answered already. I saw that Dr. Abdullah answered a few questions before leaving. There are some questions specific to Bahrain and Morocco, even also Saudi Arabia. So we'll ensure that you get the answers to those questions after the session, which is ending right now. And just to say that we are always very keen to have new national teams at GEM. So if you out there are listening and are sitting in a team or in a country where we do not have a national team, then please do reach out and check out with us how you might actually constitute a team. Equally, if you're interested in sponsoring our GEM Women's Entrepreneurship Research, we'd be very interested in hearing from you also. Thank you very much for joining us today. Sorry to have overrun the time a little, but I think it was of great interest, very exciting, and you will receive the recording, as I say. And thanks to our panelists. Thank you all for your precious time today. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Sure.
Thank you.
See you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.